Thank you so All right, hi everyone. Again, thank you so much for joining us again for our first meeting of the new year. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday celebration. Hope everyone had a great New Year's and Christmas, and hopefully spent some time relaxing and just enjoying the break with their family as well. So before we get started, maybe if anyone wants to share a little bit about what they did over the break, maybe you can say it in the chat, or you can maybe share any plans or if you traveled anywhere. Yeah, go ahead, Rachel.
Well, this didn't exactly happen over break, but there was a winter performance from my school the day before we went on break, and my class did a really cool play that we wrote ourselves in Chinese, actually called The Downfall of King Guy or The Tragedy of King Guy, and I greatly enjoyed it. It was one of the best plays my school's ever done.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, that seems very interesting. Thank you for sharing, Rachel. If anyone else wants to share, you can share right now or just unmute yourself. Okay, if not, I just hope everyone had a wonderful holiday break, and I will pass it to Michelle, who will start us off.
Thank you, Claire. And first, to start off this meeting, I'll be introducing the presiding officer, which for now will be Claire. So yeah, take it away.
All right, thank you, Michelle. And then I'll just go ahead and introduce the club as usual. So, the Future Leaders Gavel Club is a Toastmasters club open to middle and high school students, in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self confidence and personal growth. Each meeting has three parts: a prepared speech section, in which members will prepare a speech and deliver it to the club. The second part is the table topic session, where members and guests can participate to practice and improve their impromptu speaking skills. And the final part is the evaluation portion, where we have speech evaluators and functionaries who help with the whole process. All right, so please help me welcome Angelina, who is our Toastmaster. Take it away.
Thank you, Claire. I just want to start off by saying Happy New Year to everyone. Um, and I hope you had a really great holiday. So let's start off with a roll call. So Janya, can you, Janya's not here yet, but she will be doing the counter and grammarians report. For now, let's move on to Claire. Can you tell us about the timers rule?
Yeah, so as the timer, I'll just be using my backgrounds to show you your time. So for the speeches, I'll be using this green color when you have reached 5 minutes, and then the yellow when you're at the 6 minute mark, and then the red when you are at the 7 minute mark. And I will do a similar thing for the start, middle, and end for the functionaries as well. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Claire. So I'm not sure if Janya will come in, but since she's not here, is anyone that doesn't have a role yet willing to take the all counter grammarian role?
I think I can take the grammarian role. That's just noticing when the word of the day is used, correct?
Well, yeah, the grammarian role is mostly just looking for the word of the day,
Okay.
and yeah, good vocabulary. And if you want to do the odd counter role too, that one's really similar to the grammarian role. You're just looking for whenever someone uses filler words like um, so things like
Yeah,
that.
I just wouldn't know where to find. I know you guys have like a chart for that or something to keep account of it, and I wouldn't know where to find it, and I don't think I could print it out right now. So it kind of sounded like grammarian would be the easier one, unless you wanted someone to be able to take both at once.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. Is anyone else willing to take the odd counter role? Okay, I guess I will take the odd counter role then, since I think everyone else already has a role. So let's begin. Our first speech will be given by Alex. So Alex, feel free to start whenever you.
Thank you. And just give me a second. I'll get it up. Okay. Why Gen Z is getting fired more and how to turn it around. Imagine this. You've just started a brand new job. You're excited. You feel like you're finally stepping into adulthood, ready to make your mark. But a few months in, you're called into your manager's office. You're fired. Not because you did something horribly wrong, not because of poor performance, but because of something more subjective. Your attitude? This is becoming more common for people from Gen Z, also known as Generation Z, also known as Gen Z, those born between 1997 and 2012. In fact, according to a 2023 LinkedIn report, Gen Z is 22% more likely to be fired than older workers. Why is this happening? Employers often say it's because of bad work attitudes, but is that really the full story? Or are we dealing with a major generational misunderstanding? Today, I'm going to convince you that both Gen Z and employers need to take responsibility for this issue. But, and this is important, it's Gen Z who must take control of their careers because, let's face it, no one wants to hear you're fired. Let's start with what the employers are saying. They complain that Gen Z has bad work attitude, that we're lazy, entitled, and unwilling to put in the hard work. Harsh, right? But let's be honest with ourselves for a second. There's a bit of truth to that perception. Some Gen Z workers refuse to take on tasks outside their job descriptions. Some set boundaries so rigid they won't even answer emails after 5 p.m. And many are joining the growing trend of quiet quitting, doing the bare minimum to get by. Now, on surface, setting boundaries and avoiding burnout sounds like a good thing, but here's the problem. Boundaries without effort don't build careers. Your employer expects initiative. They want to see commitment. They're looking for employees who care about the bigger picture, not just the paycheck. So, why is Gen Z getting fired more often? First off, boundary setting gone too far. Gen Z is the first generation to openly prioritize mental health and a work-life balance, and that's important. But when those boundaries are set too rigidly, it creates a perception problem. If you say, that's not my job, or refuse to help out when the team is struggling, your employer sees someone who isn't willing to contribute. And let's be real, no one wants that on their team. Second, the quiet quitting culture. Have you heard of quiet quitting? It's when employees do the absolute bare minimum. No more, no less. It's become popular as a way to avoid burnout. But employers, they see it as disengagement. They see it as a poor work ethic. And when they need to cut costs, guess who's first on the chopping block? The person who's doing the bare minimum. Third, poor communication skills. Gen Z has grown up with texting and direct messaging as the primary form of communication. But in the workplace, you can't avoid difficult conversations. You need to know how to ask for feedback, clarify expectations, and handle conflicts professionally. If you solely rely on digital communication, you risk being misunderstood, and that can lead to job loss. Now, let's be fair. This isn't all on Gen Z. Employers also need to adapt to changing values. They need to recognize that mental health matters, that work-life balance is important, and that flexibility is the future of work. But, and this is critical, if you're a Gen Z worker, you can't wait for your boss to change. You need to take control of your own career. Here's the truth. Success doesn't come without effort. You can't demand flexibility, promotions, and propose without first showing commitment. You need to prove your value before you start setting boundaries. So, how do we fix this? How can Gen Z workers thrive in today's workspace? Here are 4 strategies that can help. First, show initiative. Instead of saying, "That's not my job," ask, "How can I help?" Show that you care about the company's success. Employers notice employees who go above and beyond. Second, communicate clearly and respectfully. Don't avoid difficult conversations if you need help. Ask for it. If you don't understand something, speak up. Clear communication builds trust and avoids misunderstandings. Third, balance boundaries with flexibility. Yes, boundaries are important, but don't let boundaries become barriers to growth. Sometimes you'll need to stay late. Sometimes you need to go the extra mile. Be flexible when it matters. And finally, cultivate a growth mindset. Be open to feedback, learn from your mistakes, and no one expects you to be perfect, but they do. Let's be clear. The future of work depends on you, Gen Z. We are the next generation of leaders, innovators, and change makers. But to succeed, you need to prove your value. Now, ask yourself, are you willing to go the extra mile? Are you open to learning and growing? Are you ready to be part of something bigger than yourself? The choice is yours. You can be the employee who gets fired, or you can be the one who steps up, adapts, and thrives. Now, the workplace is waiting for you to make your mark. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex, for that speech. It is probably really relevant to most of us here, and we may find ourselves in that situation in the future. So, beforehand, I really appreciate your advice. Okay, so next we have William, who will be giving the second speech. His speech title is Mission Impossible Prom Date. Mission Impossible Prom Date, William.
With a new year, I'm sure everyone has new year resolutions. What do you hope to accomplish down the line? Is it another project done and out of the way? Is it to get good grades in school? Well, let me tell you one of my New Year's resolutions. Get a prom date. Now, it may seem simple, And this whole idea of dating in high school is heavily convoluted. But when you look at it from another angle, you might see that getting a prom date isn't always as easy as you think it will be. Now, I want everyone here to participate in a little one of my surveys. Who here knows a friend or is currently in a relationship? Almost nobody. Okay, so maybe you guys all already are in my shoes. Personally, I come off as someone who is rather awkward in new relationships. So it's difficult for me to talk to other people in that scenario. And for most of my high school life, I've been totally fine without a relationship partner. But recently, I've been seeing an interesting pattern. At school, all of my lunch friends are leaving. It's now the point where I'm the only one sitting at our table. Where are all of my friends, you may ask? Oh my God, they're off with their own relationship partners. Future leaders, let me tell you a quick story. In the second day of 2025, I went to a local botanical garden, and I was strolling around the pond, just minding my own business. But suddenly, a little girl comes up to me. Now, I usually think this when little kids come up to me and start laughing, that they're just laughing at my height, because, believe it or not, I am 6'2". But she started tugging at my shirt, and she was pointing out to something in the middle of the lake. I couldn't see what she was pointing at, so I had to squint. And out in the center of the lake, I saw 7 ducks. Beautiful ducks. 4 male mallards and 3 females. And she was pointing at that one male mallard and laughing. That one male mallard without a mate. I was quite taken aback. I knew she wasn't trying to make fun of me, nor would she ever have known that I'm not in a relationship, nor do I really want to be in one at this point. But that sparked a realization with me, just as my friends going off with their loved ones did also. So I decided to get my hands a little dirty. I decided to experiment with forming relationships. Now, for some pretext, as I've mentioned before, I've never really wanted to be in a relationship. I come from the classic Asian family where your parents say, do not date in high school because that takes away too much time from your studying. And for the most part, I listened to my parents. I was a good student. I participated in lots of extracurriculars. That time was available to me because I wasn't in a relationship. But now that I am nearing the end of my high school life, I suddenly think, maybe my time would have been a little better spent if I had a little more fun. Which is the reason why, after freshman year, when I turned away with the flick of a wrist and said, no, I don't want a girlfriend. Sophomore year, when someone approached me and said, hey, do you want to? Nope. Junior year, when I decided that a relationship partner would be simply too much to accommodate my schedule. If some of you are in similar situations, look at me, and you may laugh, and I won't be mad at you if you laugh. But I decided that it was time to make a change. And I think most of you know that when I am committed to making a change, I will make that change. So I decide, okay, well, there's plenty of girls at my school. Maybe at least one of them would want to be my prom date. So I walked up to one of my classmates Let's call her Shelly. I ask Shelly, hey, I'd like to get to know you a bit better. And right away, without any hesitation, she tells me, I have a boyfriend. I was a bit taken aback, but I learned my lesson that day. Always do your homework and do your research. Be prepared and be a responsible wannabe dater. So, this time, I do all of my research. I ask all of the next girl's friends. I ask them, does she have a boyfriend? When I hear the answer, no, 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 I am exhilarated. But as I text her through Instagram, and I'm very subtle too as a texter, but I do end up trying to ask her out. But of course, I make it very subtle. She asks me, so what do you want to talk about? And then I told her, well, I just wanted to make sure our friendship doesn't end after we graduate. And then she took it very sweetly. And then she said, thank you so much. I'm so glad you think of me that way. But I do have a boyfriend outside of school. So, second time was not the charm. No matter how propitious I had thought these ventures to be, I was wrong. And this did impact me a little bit, seeing how my friends were being so successful in their love lives, and me, that one lone mallard in the middle of the lake. But as I look back on it, I know that if I had never gone out of my shell, I would never have any chance of success. As my own quote goes, if you have an idea and you want to push it forwards, if you ask, you have at least a 50% chance of getting it done. But if you never ask, if you never step outside of your shell, outside of your comfort zone, you have a 0% chance of ever succeeding. Which is why, my future leaders, my New Year's resolution for when we come back to school is to ask one of the meanest girls in our whole grade out to prom. You might ask me, why are you planning to do that? Well, I decided maybe if she's the meanest girl in the whole grade, then perhaps she'll have nobody dating her for now. So that's why I am going to possibly try to ask her out to prom. And I'll let you know if there are any updates to that situation. But I think the moral of the story that everyone needs to take away is that some things might seem daunting. You'll probably not succeed the first time, the second time, or even in my case, the third time. But if you never try, you're a guaranteed fail. And also, keep in mind that when it comes to relationships and dating, actually, people are quite happy when you ask them out, because that means that some other people care about you and that some other people think that you're a great person. So next time any of you guys come to that crossroads in life, whether that be in high school, in college, or beyond, don't be afraid to ask. The answer may be no, but at the very least, you'll have made yourself another friend. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Angelina.
Thank you, William, for that speech. Next, we will be moving on to the table topics portion of this meeting, which will be led by Ethan.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen, guys. That's how you know things about to get real fun. First of all, can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay. It looks like the answer is yes. Hold up. Okay. Actually, it was already on another window. I have no idea why I did that. Do you guys all see a Google presentation depicting a lightning bolt next to a magnet? I will. Okay, it looks like everybody's giving me the thumbs up. If it happens that you can't see anything, just let me know, I guess, and I'll try to fix it remotely. But anyways, I am the host of a new experimental game show. Now, I don't really have a name for this game show yet because I don't want to expose my highly uncreative naming skills to the entire meeting, but this is how this is going to work. I have here a depiction of two items concept or two items material. You will be shown a depiction of two items, materials, concepts, etc. that contrast with each other in some way. I will select two of you, and you each have to debate which one, you have to debate it against each other, which one of these two concepts better fits the question. You will see what I mean in a second. Which one of the two concepts is a better fit for the question I will ask? As a and I'll, to avoid, spending too much time on this, I will use a random number generator to assign each person to either of the two concepts slash items slash materials, etc. So, Caleb, you said you were in the car earlier, or do you think you could answer the table topics?
Sure.
Okay. As
So
a
I just
as
want to
a
clarify again. So I have to just, can you clarify again the purpose of the table topics or how I'm supposed to answer?
Okay. So, well, first of all, Claire and Caleb, I've decided Caleb and Claire are going to be the first two table topic speakers by, arbitrary decision. So, you see here, there's a picture of a lightning bolt and a magnet. The lightning bolt represents electricity. The magnet represents, well, magnetism. Your jobs are to debate against each other which one of these two, electricity and magnetism, has done more for human development. And the random number generator decided that Claire is going to debate for electricity, and well, Claire is going to argue for electricity, and Caleb is going to argue for magnetism. So, did that clarify some things a little bit? Yeah. So, I guess Claire, the floor is yours. And by the way, this doesn't have to be a serious debate. And also, if you guys have any of your own personal opinions or stuff, I don't have a form for you guys to decide who is more convincing. So you can just keep that opinion to yourselves, I guess. But yeah, enough yapping. So Claire, again, your job is to try to convince Caleb and I guess the rest of us why electricity has done more for humanity.
Sure, thank you. I just want to clarify something. So what is like the time limit for this, if there is one?
Well, I guess the standard table topics time limit, but I guess you could go slightly over if you think you have some really good points that you want to iterate. This is an experimental game show, so let's see how it goes, shall we?
All right, sure. So for the electricity side, I believe that electricity has done more than magnetism in improving human lives and civilization. And one major reason I believe this is because electricity is what powers our homes. I mean, you're probably in your house right now, you have the lights on, and electricity powers a lot of the things in our lives and enables us to have lights, stay in our homes, and be able to use our computers and join Toastmasters. So without electricity, none of these amazing technological advances that we are currently even using would exist. I mean, imagine a world without electricity. We wouldn't have the light that's shining right now, and we couldn't even be charging our devices like the computers you're on or the phones that you're probably checking throughout the day. So clearly, electricity is a very important part of our daily lives. Not only does it affect us personally and what we do in our daily lives, but for example, it can also ensure that we have clean water. And it also helps to provide the other necessities and power the things that we use that are crucial for our living. And next, I would say that electricity is very accessible because, as I mentioned, it powers light bulbs and also satellites, which of course are very, very important. While on the other hand, the image of the magnet or magnetism is much more specific, much more nuanced, while electricity has a very great, large, powerful role in society and how it benefits us on a daily basis. So with that, I will pass it to Caleb.
And again, Caleb, you're going to be arguing for magnetism by decision of the random number generator.
All right, thank you so much, Ethan. I agree with Claire that electricity has been a foundation to modern society. But I believe that even before electricity was a thing, magnetism was far ahead in the front. The ancient Chinese harnessed the power of magnets to drive their vessels and to navigate. It is very probable, in fact, that the Chinese themselves reached the coast of California far before Magellan and his explorers rounded the globe. Yet this principle of the magnet sparked the world because by being able to harness the power of navigation, man was able to travel, to go across the borders of the sea, and enter new lands, new riches, and discover, for example, the lands of America. We would not be here today were it not for that compass that Christopher Columbus carried with him. But as time moved on, humans found other ways of harnessing this magnetic power. And today, I just want to show two of these such advances. The first one is magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI technology. MRI technology is an incredibly helpful technology that is used to image the body when it comes to finding tumors or other infection or other things in the body. But this is a very safe technique that does not use radiation, such as other X-ray or CT technologies. This one process alone has saved countless lives because of the ability to spot certain tumors or problems that would be unable to be spotted with conventional technologies. But secondly, and the one I want to spend the most time focused on, is that of harnessing nuclear energy through nuclear fusion. I'm sure that you have noticed or have heard on the news that nuclear fusion is the future. That if we use nuclear fusion, we will not have to worry about any other sources of power. We will be able to generate our own power, and it will be an endless supply of such power. The problem, of course, comes with the fact that in order to have nuclear fusion, you must have extremely high temperatures, millions and millions of degrees hot as the surface of the sun, or else you cannot fuse the atoms that are needed to create this energy. How are you going to contain this entire sun, essentially, of heat without the whole world burning up? And that is through the simple magnet. By harnessing the power of magnetic waves, we can make sure that this intense heat is allocated only to the making of power. And by harnessing that technology and using magnets, the same magnet that helped Christopher Columbus find America, I'm sure that humanity will continue to advance forward and harness the powers of magnetism with the help of nuclear fusion. And we will have power unlimited throughout the rest of our lives. Thank you, and back to you, Ethan.
Okay. Thank you, Claire and Caleb, for participating in the first debate of Untitled Game Show. Again, when the show concludes and I hand control back to the Toastmaster, well, I guess technically general evaluator, Feel free to leave feedback for this experimental airing of the game show. If you have any suggestions for how to improve this, I would be happy to accept them. But now, the questions are going to get just a little bit more abstract. William and Natasha will be our next debaters. You see here, I have a block of wood on the left, and on the right, a block of stones, a pile of rocks. Imagine that these two blocks each had their own unique personality, just like you and I. William, you will be debating that the wood would be the more friendly of the two. And Natasha, you will be debating that the pile of rocks would be the more friendly of the two, if they had a personality just like human beings. William, the floor is yours.
Wood is obviously the choice to go to for a friendlier block, especially in the world of Minecraft, where all visions can be achieved through simple building and constructing. Now, I present to you why wood is the better option, because wood, as you can see, came from a living thing, just like all human beings, or in the case of Minecraft, Steve's, I think. I don't know. I've never touched Minecraft, so I don't really know. But either way, wood is a living thing. It's composed of cells, and all of those cells are working together to produce the meristem, the parenchyma, the sclerenchyma that make the tree up. And when you harvest wood, you might not think of it this way, but just like human beings, plants have feelings. They have feelings in the sense that they are able to communicate. These cells will communicate whenever there is an external stimulus. Let's say you decide to axe the tree for some wood because you're building a new house. Well, at the site of injury and cleavage, which is where you're chopping the tree down, that tree is actually secreting certain chemicals within its cells. So the cells are communicating with each other, telling each other that, oh, there's some damage to the tree. Meanwhile, the tree itself is communicating through its wide network of basic. There's a structure underneath in which works with the roots that's actually built from fungi. So fungi and trees have this symbiosis. So trees are actually communicating with each other that maybe one of them is being chopped down, one of them is burning, all of these environmental stimuli. So wood is derived from a fellow living being, whereas stone has been compacted over thousands upon thousands of years. You're not sure where this pile of rock even came from, but for the wood, you knew the source it came from. And that same wood, with its the life that it used to hold, as well as the mechanical property, so it's able to be cut more easily than the stone. Wood is the symbol of growth and of healing. So therefore, that's why I believe that wood is the friendlier option between a plank of wood and a pile of rocks.
Good. Thank you, William. And again, you don't actually have to know how these blocks function in the world of Minecraft to answer these questions. You can draw off of your real life experiences with these materials. Natasha, the floor is yours.
Hi, can everyone hear me okay? I think my
Yep.
internet has been pretty bad.
I mean, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. When you were talking earlier, it was cutting out. Okay. I will argue that out of wood and stone, stone is by far the most friendly material. The reason are as such. Wood has to be killed in order to be used and in any practical way, whereas stone can be quarried and is not alive. Wood is easily scratched and is very flawed in many ways easily, whereas stone is much more stable and can be more durable in many instances. Additionally, when somebody is proposing to their partner, do they give them a ring set with a piece of wood, or do they give them a polished gemstone of rare quality for their partner to enjoy? This is a clear sign based on the scale of diamond rings given in weddings and engagements as compared to wood rings. So this is evidence that by far stone is the more friendly material. Additionally, stone can be produced in many different ways and in different areas of the world where each rock can show the qualities of the place that it came from and describe the cultures of its area, which can symbolize the friendliness across cultures in the world. There's a lot of symbolism that goes into gemstones. A lot of people are into birthstones and things like that. And I think this is evidence that stones have always been the more friendly material in the eyes of humans by how much symbolism and meaning people have given to what may seem like just cold and old and hard things in the world that are not living. But because of their beauty and their rarity, they have attracted people all over the world to find them, polish them, and craft them into the most beautiful things that can also be given away to people as presents and things to show meaning and care for each other. So this is my argument that stone is more friendly than wood. Thank you.
Okay. Those are some great responses, William and Natasha. The generalization from cobblestone to more general mineraloid aggregations was not something I expected, but I'm not going to complain about it. Now, I do realize that I'm running a bit over time. I will need to research methods to streamline the flow of this game show. Again, this is why it's experimental. But I will see if I can squeeze in one last debate for this meeting. Michelle and Rachel will be the debaters for this round. On the left, a block of silver. On the right, a block of gold. Michelle, your job is to convince us why the silver would be a better friend. The floor is yours.
Now, why is silver a better friend than gold? Well, I believe it because it's all around us, right? Silver is in almost everything, maybe. Not really. But I'm sure some of us own stuff that contains silver, right? Like jewelry, necklaces, bracelets, that kind of stuff, right? And um if not, I'm sure there's other stuff or items that contain silver, or maybe water bottles, or um just not really much to go off on. But items that are everywhere or surrounding us right now. Maybe like um yeah, there's not much to go. To get to my point, basically, I believe silver is our friend because it's surrounding us and it's everywhere around us. And it can also be helpful too. It can help you flex your money off your enemies. David, what the hell? Okay. Yeah, but that's kind of all I have to work with. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for thank you for your answer, Rochelle. Now, Rachel. And again, just to clarify, based on what you know about these two materials, try to imagine them as real people, and then argue why your material would be a better friend. So, Rachel,
Has anyone ever heard this saying? Well, okay, I think someone I met made this up, but they said, um, make new friends but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. Well, gold rhymes with old, right? And friends who have been with you for a very long time, these special old friends, are more likely to be faithful than these new friends. If Gold, your old friend, has stood with you through many years of homework and life issues and social issues, and when you're rejected by everybody else, faithful old Gold is still with you because they don't care if other people reject you. Some people might think, oh, Gold is a very arrogant person because they're rich, but that's not true. Rather than just being arrogant and rich, they are rich, but they are also faithful. And like their name suggests, you discovered them because a good friend is like gold, and you you sought them out and they have always stayed faithful to you. Silver's okay, but you kind of just met them, and I don't think it's a good idea to trust somebody you just met, but you can trust Gold because you've known Gold for a great amount of years and they've never failed you. That's why I think Gold is a much friendlier person and it shows. Thank you.
hey, thank you, Michelle and Rachel, for participating in this round of Untitled Game Show. I really should think of a better title than that. But I'm actually, well, it used to be 10, now 11 minutes overtime. So I will stop yapping and hand control over to the general evaluator. But feedback over this experimental game show would be much appreciated. And as I said before, I will research methods into streamlining the operation of this game show. So I will hand the floor to general evaluator Caleb.
Thank you so much, Ethan, for leading us in that really, really fun table topic session. I'm sure we all had fun either giving our responses or listening to the cunning responses of everyone else. Now, to start off the evaluation portion of tonight's meeting, I would like to call on our speech one evaluator, who is Rachel. Rachel, take it away.
Alex, I was very impressed with your speech, and while listening to it, I thought it was close to perfect. I think you excelled at clarity for sure because you spoke in a loud, clear voice that we could all understand. And I like how you had some vocal variety, and your eye contact was pretty good too. You had a lot of interest in the topic, and the topic was very relevant because us as Gen Z are going to start entering the workforce, and we don't want to get fired or have a negative attitude towards our work. And you gave us a lot of good tips about how we can improve our motivation and work ethic. And I think you also seemed very comfortable with the audience, and you were very natural as well. Some things I think you could work on. I liked your hand gestures. People see your hand gestures more when you stand up, so I would recommend that. But I do have to commend you on how well you did the gestures while sitting down. And I think even more vocal variety would be pretty good. And maybe it might be good to mention some sources about the topic, like where you did your research about the topic of Gen Z in the workforce. Overall, again, I was very impressed with this speech, and I like speeches like that where they're a relevant topic to us, and you say things that could help us in the future. And overall, I think you did very well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for your wonderful evaluation. And now we will be moving on to the speech to evaluator, who is tonight, Michelle. Michelle, take it away.
Mission Impossible prom date. Wow, what a story that it has been. Well, okay, so first starting off, and I have no intro for my evaluation. I believe you excelled at connecting with the listeners and like interacting with them with the starting. Starting off, you started off strong, right? With the question directed to the viewers, connecting all of us together, of all of us being lone alphas. Okay, please no. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Anyways, you also did well on connecting your story with another personal story from yourself. And that's wonderful because we get to learn more about you and we get to see how that connects to the story, obviously. And something you can work on and challenge yourself on, I believe, is shortening the story, which don't get me wrong, I love the story and love listening about it. But the problem is, it went a little bit over time, just a little bit. Yeah. And some general notes is that I believe the how you ended it and started it was clever with starting with the question and ending with, I believe, the moral of the story. And some extra notes I took is that your gestures were very expressive and we could see it. But I think maybe my brain is rotting or something, but I don't think I heard too much vocal variety. That might just be me because I'm kind of like deaf and dying internally right now. But yeah, if you could just try to use a little bit more vocal variety. And that's all. So back to you, General Evaluator Caleb.
Thank you so much for your wonderful evaluation and insight, Michelle. And we will now be going on to our functionary report section of this meeting. First off, our all counter and grammarian of tonight, Angelina, could you please share with us what you heard throughout the meeting?
Yeah, I'll be sharing the all counter portion and then Natasha will be doing the grammarian portion. So for Alex, I didn't catch anything, which is really good. William had a couple of things in his table topics. I caught a few ums, stutters, and repeats. I also caught a few ums for myself. For Ethan, I didn't catch anything either. Claire, nothing. Caleb, when you were talking about the MRI section, I think you stuttered a little. But other than that, there's nothing major. Natasha had 2 ums. Michelle had 4 ums. And Rachel had 1 and a couple of repeats. So good job overall.
Thank you so much, Angelina. And now I would like to call on Natasha, who will be providing the Alcana report.
I'll be doing the grammarian report, but yeah. For speaker 1, Alex, I noticed that he had a very concise, accurate phrase which he used, which is boundaries without effort don't build careers. This is an example of very precise wording. It was very short and sweet, just like it needed to be. For speaker 2, William, he used the word of the day once in a very good example of, I believe, propitious in ventures. So that's very good. Caleb used the word allocated in the context of allocated only to the making of power, which I think was a good vocabulary choice, not a very common word and very well used. Rachel used the phrase sought them out in the context of finding friends who are as good as gold, and I thought that was a very good word choice, very specific to the situation, and a very good word choice in general. That's it.
Thank you so much, Natasha. And lastly, for our final report before my evaluation, Claire, our timer.
Thank you, Caleb. So starting off with speaker 1, who was Alex. Alex, you had a time of 6 minutes and 54 seconds, which was perfect. It was right between 5 to 7 minutes. And then William, your speech was 9 minutes and 40 seconds, which is over 7 minutes, but I'm sure we all don't mind since all your stories were very engaging and humorous, and I'm sure we'd love to hear more. And then for the debate portion of the meeting, for William, I got a time of 3 minutes. For Natasha, you had a time of 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Michelle, you had a time of 1 minute and 37 seconds. And Rachel, you had a time of 2 minutes and 18 seconds. So since this is like a new format for our table topic sessions, I'm sure the times don't matter very much for this since everyone had great insights. And then for the evaluations for Rachel, you had a time of 1 minute and 50 seconds. I believe the evaluation range is between 2 minutes to 3 minutes. So it was very, very close, but you were basically there. So great job with that. And then Michelle, you had a time of 1 minute and 58 seconds. So pretty much a very similar situation. And then for the ad counter, Angelina, you had a time of 43 seconds, which is great. And then Natasha, for you, I had a time of 1 minute and 7 seconds, which is great as well. Thank you, and back to you, Kayla.
Thank you so much, Claire, for giving us the timers report. And now I would like to share the general evaluation for tonight's meeting. Let me share my screen very quickly. 1 second. All right, please let me know if you can share, if you can see my PowerPoint. All right, FLGC meeting on January 8th, 2025. Congratulations to everyone on a wonderful start to the new year. Special thanks to Claire and William for starting the meeting smoothly and starting the recording even while I was away in the car. You did a great, great job. Now, first off, for Table Topics Master Ethan. I enjoyed the debate style table topics, and I'm sure that many of us enjoyed them as well. It was a breath of fresh air and something that we honestly don't do as much as we probably should, a debate. I liked the Minecraft emojis. They made it different. You could have simply went online and got a realistic picture, but instead you use the Minecraft emojis, and I really enjoyed that. Now, for some room for improvement, I challenge you to choose a title. Instead of remorsing about how you didn't choose a title, just choose a title and then forget about mentioning it to us, because one, that will help to put a title to your table topic session, but also it will make you have more self-confidence in your table topic session. Other than that, however, we really enjoyed your table topic session, and hopefully you can do something similar next time. For speech evaluator 1, Rachel, I enjoyed how you highlighted many of Alex's speaking strengths and speech relevance. You balanced the highlights with room for improvement. And you used a hybrid sandwich method in which you first started with the highlights, then you talked about the room for improvement, and then you talked about the. There's a very innovative way of approaching an evaluation. I also like how you ended with more positives, and it's a little bit different than ending with challenging yourself, but I think that's a very, very plausible evaluation method. Now, for speech evaluator 2, Michelle, I liked how you started with a title. Telling us William's title really caught our attention and drew us into your evaluation as we reminiscent about your speech. I also like how you included humor in your evaluation. It made us all pay a little bit more attention. Now, for some room for improvement, I would challenge you to simply believe in yourself instead of telling yourself, "Oh, I'm messing this up," or saying something that might be a little bit self-deprecating to the listener. Instead, just simply ignore those things and move on as if nothing had ever happened. I think that will not only bring lots of self-confidence to you, but it'll also make your evaluations and any kind of speaking you do go a lot smoother. But very, very great, very, very good job, Michelle, on your evaluation. And then lastly, to our functionaries, Angelina, Natasha, and Claire, thank you so much for giving us your very detailed report. And thank you to everyone who participated in the meeting tonight, whether it was in the table topics, speeches, which were very, very well done, or in the functionaries and evaluation portion. So thank you so much. And with that said, I'd like to hand it back over to our Toastmaster of the night, who is Michelle. Back to you, Michelle.
Oh,
Michelle?
wait. Confused when you said Toastmaster. I was like, isn't that?
Sorry. So sorry. It's the Toastmaster Angelina. I got confused because you started the meeting and then I was in the car at that time. No problem. So Angelina, whenever you're ready, feel free to begin your Toastmaster. Seems like Angelina is not here at the moment.
Sorry, did you say my name? I just want to get water.
Yep, I just finished my general evaluation report, so whenever you are ready, you can begin. Angelina, I'm not sure if you're trying to talk right now, but I can't hear what you're saying. Does anyone else hear Angelina? Angelina, can you hear us? Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry. So I'm a bit confused. Do I introduce the guest?
Sure. If you would like, you can call on some of our guests tonight and ask them to share. I think Devin didn't have a chance to speak tonight, so you can ask Devin and Hamilton if they'd like to say a few words about the meeting tonight.
Yeah, all right, sure. So Devin or Anatan, do you have any comments, suggestions, or questions that you want to address?
So I don't have any questions, but I love how we that. So I will- and I love everyone participating in the speech. And yeah, happy New Year, guys.
Oh, thank you, Devin. Okay. Anatan, do you want to say any suggestions, comments, or questions?
If not, we can just move on as we are a little bit over time already. Angelina?
Yeah, okay, so I guess the last thing to do any of the parents or listeners today in general want to comment on anything?
Right, I think it looks like everyone who's wanted to comment has commented. So thank you so much, Angelina, for being our Toastmaster of tonight. And my apologies for not calling you when I should have. And I would like to, at 7:09 p.m., almost adjourn the meeting. I have an important announcement that next week is going to be our officer elections. So all of the officer positions are going to be open, and you can run for everything from president all the way to sergeant at arms. And our terms will be resetting. So definitely be thinking about what roles you want and if you want to move up in the FLGC hierarchy. And with that said, thank you everyone so much for coming to the meeting tonight. Does anyone have any additional questions or comments? I know Angelina already asked for this, but does anyone have anything they would like to comment before we officially adjourn this meeting?
I mean, I guess I should tell you now that I don't think I'll be able to make it to the meeting next week because orchestra program.
All right.
So yeah, I guess I should tell you that now so I don't get assigned a role and then don't show up.
All right, thank you, Ethan, for letting us know. Although I still remember that time that you ran for president and you were in your car. So that was really fun. I don't know if you're going to plan on running for something this time, but thank you for letting us know. And also, Ethan brings up a good point. If you are unable to make the meeting next week, you can just send a recording. Again, Ethan sent a recording from his Lexus in Oklahoma and just pretty much listed all his achievements and why he thought that you should vote for him. And he was our president. So you can definitely win by just submitting a video. And with that said, does anyone have anything else to report? And if not, I would like to officially adjourn this meeting at 7:10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you everyone so much for coming to the meeting tonight. Happy New Year, and we will see everyone next week and looking forward to growing together and speaking better in 2025. Thank you everyone and have a great rest of your week. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone.